got my phone doing the comments. Hello? You can't hear it? I can't see a little bar. Hello? Won't be long, just shuffling up the cards. And then we will be live in a little while, just trying to get organised, sort out my cards. Okay. Yep. Just checking out audio, sounds good. Sorting out my beautiful cards. And then we will be going live. If you've joined the live, just jump in and say hi. Be good. Hi Mariana, how are you? Nice to see you here. It's been a little while. In about 3.5 minutes, I'll be doing some readings if you'd like one. Yep. We've just got our technician over there checking all the audio and everything, and we can see everything. All right, cards look good. No worries, Mariana. I would love to read for you. That'd be great. I hope you've been well. So I like to take the time to get my cards ready before I do a reading. So that's why I do a bit of a countdown, because it gets me in the right frame of mind. It gets my energy balanced. Helps the cards to be settled down too, and we just kind of connect the energy. So I spent the morning doing some Clean Up Australia Day activities with our local Girl Guides. So I do a bit of volunteering there, and so we were busy. It was quite warm this morning. Second day of March. So we have the sun in Pisces at the moment. And we've just gone through a new moon, which has been the start of new beginnings and change. New moon in Pisces. So that was only a few days ago. So we're still, starting or connecting to that moon energy as it starts to wax its way towards a full moon again. Hi, Dorella. How are you? Thank you, Dorella. Yes, I have been away for a little while. I actually sustained an injury back in November, so I have not been around much because I've been recovering. So I've taken some time out to get well again. And then of course we had Christmas, New Year and all of that chaos. So I am trying to get back on track with all of my mind stuff. So lovely to see you here. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we've got about a minute. I'm going to shuffle the cards, connect with the cards, and then Mariana, I'd love to start with you and do a reading. And Dorella, would you like a reading, or would you just like to stay and have a little look? It's up to you. Yep, all good. So here.
Just bring it back with you.
Oh,
Oh.
you could ask me to do it. Probably a bit easier. Are they going to be slow?
I don't know.
Thank you, Dorella. Yes, I'm a lot better. It took a lot to recover. I had lots of imaging done. I've actually got some tears in my hips and I have an FAI injury. So my whole world was turned upside down. We had the Taurus supermoon around that time and it really shook things up for a lot of people last November. So there was a lot of change and a lot of stress in people's lives back then. So yeah, none of us kind of get out of it really, but it affects us in different ways. Okay, Mariana, let's see what the cards have for storing you for you today. Just take that title off, Matt, if we can.
The tarot one?
Yep. Yeah, just a bit more room for the cards. Okay, so Mariana, let's see what our cards have got for you. All right, we're just going to lay our 3 cards out. Hopefully you can see them nice and clearly there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to say that I feel like there is a legal situation that you're going through, Mariana, at the moment, and I feel like there is a lot happening in your world. So I would say that something is coming to fruition for you. Something is about to be balanced. So an answer to a long-held question or an outcome that you've been desiring is about to go in your favour. So I have the Chariot with Justice over here, and the Chariot often alludes to movement and change that way as well. So I would say that there's probably going to be a transition in terms of where you might be located at the moment, and so that's telling me that perhaps you're moving towards something, or you're going somewhere, or maybe even changing your address at the moment. So I don't know whether you've been thinking of moving or whether you've been thinking of changing jobs, but there's definitely a transition on the cards for you. And justice is about contracts as well, so it doesn't always mean legal as in like court proceedings and things like that. It can be, you know, those mundane things we need to sort out, like paperwork and things like that. So with the justice card here, I feel like you've got maybe some of that contract stuff coming up for you. So I think that that's probably to do with where you're going with the Chariot, and I feel like that's going to bring about some change, and it's going to be for the better. So if you get the opportunity to make a change, if you get a message, so the Page of Wands is often a message from somebody to say, you know, I've got something for you, there's you know, some energy attached to this, I would like to give you a proposal. I would probably suggest that you take that opportunity, because it is going to work in your favour. It's going to be quite successful for you. And these are major cards, so I would be jumping on the chance for a change there. And I think one of the biggest things is that you need to move on. You need to pull yourself out of situations that aren't serving you anymore. So my question would be, government money, okay, yeah, so that's why it's a contract, I would say. And so with that money, you have the opportunity to do something with that, okay? So I would say do something quite positive for yourself. Make a transition that you've always wanted to do, and take the bull by the horns and go for it, because that message that's coming around this will feel like you've closed some doors and feel like that you're settling in a different way than what you've been doing. So I feel like there is a positive shift happening for you, Mariana, and that's really exciting to see. So Chariot's always about movement and always about transition, but it's a positive one. It's number 7. So it's telling you that a new cycle of positivity, and you're going to feel victorious, like you've come through some really hard times, and the transition is going to really benefit you in the future. But I would say I do sense something around a location shift for you in the future too. So keep that in mind. Who knows? That could be very, very, very exciting. Yes, divorce, moving on. Yep, I love that. That's fantastic. So I love that. All right, so I'm just going to suggest now, since you're divorced and your settlement there, that you're probably looking at a big shift in terms of where you're going in the future. All right, Dorella, so when will Tony reach out to you? And Tony is a Cancer. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, Tammy, no worries. I'll pop you in the list. See you, Jim and Cheryl. Don't need you on my chat anyway. That's fine. Bye. All right. Yeah, so it looks good for you, Mariana. It looks positive. So stay focused with that. Okay, Tony, Cancer male. Let's see what he's got to say for you. You're so welcome, Mariana. It looks positive. Okay. And then Tammy, it'll be your turn after that. No worries at all. Yeah, so I think whenever we see the Chariot in a reading, I always think of victory and positivity. And with justice, it means that The battle is over. It means that you're ready to make a new start, a new transition, and it's going to work really well for you. You get to have a bit of a break, a bit of a positive period in your life after a lot of stress. Okay. All right, so you want to know when Tony's reaching out to you, Dorella. So we'll see when. We'll look for some timing. So I always think of those questions, and I always think that's what you're aiming for, is kind of some information around timing. So we'll see if we can get that for you, because the cards can be very interesting in how they give us time. Okay. So that's interesting that we have a 7 and an 8 here. So 7 and 8s could mean the 7th month or the 8th month, but it could also mean, you know, 7 days, 8 months, you know, things like that. Time is not linear when it comes to the tarot. I have to stress that. Tarot works on divine timing, and so divine timing is very different to any other timing. And so we have linear time with seasons and clocks and months and days and things like that. But the tarot works more with energy, so everything's always flowing, everything's always moving. But the 7 of Pentacles for you, Dorella, is saying to me that I feel like you've been waiting patiently. I feel like you've been putting things, you know, kind of on hold in hopes that he will reach out to you. And I feel like that's been a really, really tough period, because time seems to go really, really slow for you. And that's been a bit of a tricky space, you know, mentally and emotionally for you. But I will also say that the 7 of Pentacles means that you've been putting in really positive energy into this, and you've been kind of thinking and manifesting in the best way that you can to try to reach out and connect with Tony mentally and emotionally. So I don't know whether you've been doing something subtle behind the scenes. Sometimes the 7 of Pentacles means behind the scenes, to try to kind of get his attention or try to connect with him. But I feel like there's definitely been some kind of a subtle way that you've been trying to connect. And that can also mean, you know, through ESP, trying to connect to him mentally, trying to send out, you know, your energy to him so that he receives that. It can also mean dreaming sometimes as well, that maybe you've been having kind of thoughts of Tony when you're sleeping or at rest, and trying to connect to him that way. Now, the 8 of Cups, I'm going to say this is a bit of a tricky one in terms of when he'll reach out to you, because it often means walking away from something. And so the message to me would really be for you to talk about you leaving something behind. And I reckon it's probably about this connection with Tony here. And so it's a heartbreaking card. Like, it's not an easy card emotionally, because you're leaving behind all of these cups that seem to be intact and positive for you. So that's really, really tough. But it's also a necessary thing that needs to happen. So I feel that the cards are saying that by you waiting and you putting all your energy into this, and he's not giving you much back in return, that it's time to probably start to look at moving on for yourself. It's not easy to do that though. And that means emotionally really just trying to think about where you'd like your future to be, and imagining what that would be like without Tony necessarily as a part of that. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I do think that the 8 of Cups is saying that it's time to walk away. It's time to really pull yourself away from a situation that's not serving you anymore. I'm going to be honest with you, he is moving on. And so you do have an emotional connection to each other. So this hasn't been very easy for him either, but he is moving on. He is trying to put things behind him, and you should be doing the same, but this isn't easy. This is a period of grief. So the 8 of Cups often means emotional turmoil. We can see the moon here and the sun together eclipsing, and we could see that the sun's, you know, quite defeated. Feels like they're letting go of something that they wish they could have held on to. Yeah, leaving something behind. And I think that that's what you're doing. You're leaving the cups behind here, even though they transiently seem like they're full. But what I will say is that over here, you have the mountains up there, and you have things that you've got to conquer in your future. And the more that you are held back by Tony's energy, the harder it is for you to be able to see what's on the other side of that mountain. So I would say move forward and keep going, because you have a lot to look forward to in your future. Now, the 2 of Pentacles is about juggling a lot of stuff. So it's about you throwing your pentacles in the air and trying to keep everything afloat. I feel like you've got a lot going on in your life at the moment, Dorella, and I'd say that for you that's been a really tricky period of balance. So you're trying to kind of keep everything afloat. You're trying to keep, you know, work and family life and, you know, your connection to this fella as well afloat. But often when I get the Two of Pentacles, it tells me that there's an imbalance. One thing's higher than the other, and the infinity symbol there isn't quite balanced. So I would say that it's time for you to drop a ball and to focus on those things that really matter to you. And it is going to hurt. It's not going to be easy. But I do think that when you get to the other side of this, you're going to be feeling more intact, and you've got some choices of how you can go about that. But I do think it's time to make a big decision and finally cut off those ties, because they are just pulling you back to something that, yeah, you really are wasting your energy on, to be honest, because things are not really moving in the direction that you would hope they would. And he's not emotionally capable of giving you what you need. I'm sorry, I know that that was a bit of a heavy reading there, Dorella, but I think I had to be honest with you about those things. Okay, Tammy, let's have a look for you. And Jasmina, welcome. How are you? Yes, you can get a general, absolutely. But Tammy, I'm going to read for you now. So do you have a specific question, Tammy, or would you like me to just do a general reading for you? If you have a general, if you'd like general, just put general. But if you'd like me to do a question, pop a question in there. Yes, and Jasmina, you'll be next. No worries. Yeah, Dorella, sorry to say that to you, but I think that leaving behind something can be the hardest thing we ever do, but I reckon it's the most important to give yourself that space for something new to come in. If we're holding on to the past, we can't allow something new to come in. You're welcome. Will I find love soon? Okay, Tammy, let's have a look for you with love. So I love these questions because it's all about, you know, us reaching out and trying to find our emotional connections, and spiritual energy loves that connection, absolutely does. So I'm just giving the cards a good shuffle for you, Tammy, and I'm going to jump in and see whether you'll find love soon. Because I often think that when we ask that question, it's about, are we ready? Is the timing right? Is that person that's meant to be with me ready as well? Because it's not always about us all the time, is it? It's about the other person too. And sometimes divine timing plays a big role in that as well. All right, so let's have a look. So I'm cutting the deck with my left hand. The left hand is always vibrationally connected to the mother or the energy of the feminine. Okay. Okay, so Tammy, you've been working very, very hard. So you've been very, very busy in your job. You've been pouring yourself into something that you love to do. And I think that that's created a bit of a lack of time or space in your world to be able to pursue other things. So that's been really, really tricky for you. I do have a female in the middle of your reading here who I believe has caused a little bit of difficulty in your life. So I don't know whether that's a family member, a friend, or somebody close to you, but I do feel like you have, you're at odds with somebody in your life, a female. And I feel like it's made things emotionally a bit unbalanced for you, and you felt a little bit stressed. I feel like with the Seven of Cups are often about confusion. So I feel like there may have been a past situation in a relationship for you where there was a lot of confusion about feelings, about connections, about that kind of stuff. And I feel like for you, your way of distracting yourself from some of those confusing elements was to move yourself into work and focus on your job or your study or something like that to keep your mind busy, so you weren't stressing about what was going on in terms of the confusing aspects. So someone's been giving you maybe mixed signals, or you've been getting a different kind of information from somebody. And I feel like that's probably been a little bit tricky for you to decipher or understand where things are going that way. But I would say the biggest thing for you, Tammy, is trusting your intuition. And I think you might be struggling with that at the moment because somebody has sown in the past those seeds of doubt in you. So sometimes when you get that feeling of knowing, or you get that feeling that you are really sure about something, you doubt that feeling a little bit and you question it. So you might be living in your head a little bit too much instead of listening to the emotional message. So the tarot is asking you to get connected back to yourself and get back connected to your intuition. So with the Seven of Cups, it's all about intuitive messages. So my feeling here is that you need to get back into yourself here, and you need to trust those messages. So if you have feelings for somebody, or if you feel that they have feelings for you, you're not imagining this. This isn't a delusion. This isn't something that's pretend. It's a real feeling. So stop doubting yourself. I feel like this female involved here maybe trying to throw you off course a little bit. So that could be part of her role as well. She might be trying to sow some seeds of doubt in you by coming in and giving you some advice that is seemingly positive, but it's actually probably not as positive as it seems. And so your intuition about this female is probably true. And I would say maybe you work together, or maybe there's a connection that way. But I do definitely feel as though there is some intuition that you've got around a connection somewhere, and you're just feeling so out of touch with whether they connect with you or not. And I think that they are. I think they're thinking of you too. So what you're feeling, or when you're connecting to that, is actually the truth. So I would say not to let other people throw you off course. So my message is that it's probably closer than you think, that connection. And it's probably already there with somebody. You probably already know that you have feelings or connection with somebody. You're just doubting that they have the same for you, but they definitely do. That's a given, and that's why the message feels a bit muddled, because you're both doing that dance around, do they have feelings for me or not? So I would say, to clarify, if we move this card out of the way, I would say to clarify, you need to actually probably ask the question. And so that would be a very nerve-wracking experience, I know that. But I would actually come out with a question and say, is this just me, or is there something here between us? And all you've got to lose there is that person going, oh, definitely not. But I don't think that's going to happen. I wouldn't give you that advice if I thought you were going to fall down on your knees with that. I feel like it's actually going to surprise you in a positive way that that person actually does have those feelings too, and they've been wondering the same thing about you. So yeah, trust the intuition, ask the question. It's the most nerve-wracking thing you'll ever do, but also if we leave it all muddled, if we leave it all murky, then maybe things don't progress and we miss the boat of that connection. And I don't want that for you, Tammy. So I would say trust that those connections you feel, those feelings are real. And definitely with your workplace, I feel like there is some challenges that you're going through at the moment, but this person understands, okay? And so you have a vibe there already. So maybe go out for drinks or connect that way in some way, and maybe just ask the question, get it off your chest. I hope that's helped you. All right, so we have Jasmina next. Yes, hi Anastasia, how are you? Nice to see you here. Okay, I hope that's helped, Tammy. I know that was a little bit of an interesting one, but I love the Seven of Cups because it's all about, just popped out again, all about the connection to muddled energy. So there's so many different elements coming out through those cups, and those cups are all emotional. So it's that confusion of feelings and that self-doubt that comes with those feelings. I'm so glad that resonates with you, Tammy. Yeah, get it out there. Be brave. You've got this. It'll work in your favor. Yeah. And I only give advice when it's really, really sure for me, okay? All right, so Jasmina, you're up. Let's have a look and see what the cards have in store for you today on this Sunday. I can't believe we're in March already. Goodness me, it's gone quickly. But the years do go fast, don't they? Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Anastasia. I was just saying to the group before that I had an injury. I had in November, so I actually had a spinal compression injury and I have torn hips. So I was pretty immobile for a good while there. And so it was quite a sudden injury. And so I was out for the count. That Taurus full moon in mid-November, super moon, definitely threw me. But I needed to reset a few things. So I was overdoing things in my work and it was saying slow down and I wasn't listening. And so the universe kicked me up the arse nice and hard. So that's where I ended up, literally on the ground. So now I'm back and I'm healing and I'm feeling great. Okay, Now I'm cutting the cards for you, Jasmine, and let's have a look and see what comes through today. Okay. Rightio. So we have a King of Wands in the center of your reading, and lots of messages and information coming from this guy. Lots of stuff coming through from him. There's a lot of lying. Okay, there's a lot of charisma around this person, but there is some untruths around him. So I'm actually going to caution you around this fella, and I'm going to say be very, very careful around some of the information that you're receiving, Jasmina, because I do hope that he is being genuine, but I don't think he is. So the Seven of Swords is often about deceit, and it's about presenting in a really strategic way. So he's very good at giving you what you want to hear. He's very good at giving you information, but I feel like there is definitely a misdirect here. So the Knight of Swords is basically like a swift energy. So he came into your life almost very quickly, and he has almost given you kind of this whirlwind. I feel like there's a whirlwind around him, and I feel like there's lots of kind of mixed emotions around this person. And I feel like for you, you're quite an intuitive person, but with him you feel a little bit unsure as to where to turn. But he's definitely good at being able to get people where he wants them to be. So his the wands actually represent fire. So I will ask a bit about sun signs, but I feel like it's more of a chart thing for him. And I feel like this person, this male in your life, is definitely connected to fire energy. So when he speaks to you, when he connects with you, he's quite charismatic. And I would say that that's why it's muddled, and that's why it's hard to understand, but there's a few inconsistencies. So you're right in understanding that there are some things to question or to doubt. That's your intuitive voice speaking to you. Your desires, on the other hand, are probably a little bit different to that. So if you feel swept up in a male's energy, if you feel like it's, you know, maybe a little bit too good to be true, or maybe, you know, you're doubting some of the things that are coming through from him, I would actually be trusting that intuition there. So I think that it's generally a bit of a watch out. If you haven't connected with anyone like that, the tarot is giving you a heads up that somebody's going to rush into your life in the near future and probably give you a lot of charisma, love bomb you, give you lots of information, and then, you know, basically they're not going to be what they seem. So always look to be on the surface of somebody, you know, really try to connect with them for their true nature, because I literally can see that he is not being honest or true to you. He's not giving you the information that you deserve to have. Okay, so sorry to say that, Jasmina, but I do feel like there is definitely some BS going on, or just some shadiness, I would say. It's more of a shadow energy. So the swords are often about what we think and what we project in terms of our thinking and our thoughts. And I do think that that's a possibility here as well. So yeah, there is definitely a male in your life who may either be there now or coming into your life who has been less than honest, or is going to be less than honest. So keep your guard up, listen to your intuition, and don't let him win this. Don't let him do this to you. So call him out is what my message would be. The Nine of Swords is like, you know, the call out card. It's like, get in there and don't let it get too far into a situation that you can't back out of. Okay, so I hope that's helped you, but trust is a big issue there. Okay, so I'm going to jump into Anastasia. Sorry, I've got to check, did you want a reading, or were you just here to say hi? I'm sure it's probably, if I scroll up, I'll probably see. Oh, yep. Yes, you can have a read, Anastasia. I do this to you every time, I think, don't I? Yeah, I'm like, of course you would like a reading. I would love to read for you. It is nice to be back, and I will be back regularly. This is my thing. I wanted to get back sooner, but we've just had a lot going on. So now I feel like we've got a lot of stuff out of the way, and I'll be able to do my regular tarot sessions, because I do love getting on and doing some live readings every Sunday. It's quite a lot of fun. How does he feel towards you? Okay, let's see. I have a sip of caffeine and then we'll keep going. And thanks, Tammy. Yes, I am much better. Way better than what I was. Thank you. But it took a little while with my recovery. I'm still have some issues, but I'm a lot better. Okay, how does he feel toward you? I like to kind of really connect the questions when I'm shuffling for the reads. Okay. All right. Okay, so I know that I've done readings for some people here in the past, but I don't remember them all. So I'm sorry if I'm going to repeat myself from past things that I may have said before, because a lot of the time these things will connect back to what we've said before. Okay, so the Nine of Wands tells me, Anastasia, that he is battered and broken from a situation in his past. So I think that he is playing cautious. So I think that he is still recovering from some events that he went through quite a while ago. He doesn't recover easily from things. He was a bit sensitive, even though he may appear stoic and, you know, as though nothing really affects him. I think that's his facade. I do think that things affect him very deeply. So with the Nine of Wands, I would say that he is trying to mend, and he feels as though you are somebody. This is when you said how is he feeling towards you. He feels as though you are somebody that really helps him to heal. So you give him a lot of healing energy. So you have that essence about you that kind of calms him and makes him feel safe. There is a safety aspect for him, and he feels very warm and comforted in your energy. But he still feels as though he can't give you some of that energy that you need. So I feel there's a little bit of, he pulls back a little bit maybe, and you're not feeling like you're getting the connection or the consistency that you would want in a connection with somebody. He is really wanting to be a better version of himself, and he wants to showcase that to you, because he really does see your genuine truth, and he sees that you are a real loving person and that you really have the best intentions for him. So he acknowledges that, but he doesn't know if he can give that to you, and he hasn't forgiven himself for some things from his past as well. So I think he is in a stage where there's a lot of healing that's going on, so that's positive, but it's still taking time. He's a very slow healer. He likes to draw, he doesn't like to draw things out, it's just how he does things. But the Three of Pentacles in the middle there is telling me that things are starting to kind of stabilize for him. So he's starting to feel more like he can trust you. He's feeling more like he can connect with you on a deeper level. And literally the Page of Cups in any reading would be messages of love. So I would say that if you're asking me how he feels, he definitely does care for you. There is definitely a love energy around him for you. But it's just going to require a lot of patience on your part to allow him to really come into that healing phase and to feel better. And so if you can give that to him, if you can give him some of that joy, and you can let him, you know, just be himself around you, I feel like that will grow and grow. But if you feel like you don't necessarily have the patience, like the infinite time to wait around for this, you might have to ask yourself those hard questions. You know, do you want to wait this out? Is he someone who you genuinely love enough to be able to wait until he's ready for things to progress for the two of you? If the answer is no to that, don't beat yourself up. It's okay. Like sometimes timelines on this earth, sometimes this journey here is not meant to be with particular people. We can still have a lot of love for them. We can still have a lot of connection with them. But if you feel that you need something more from somebody that he can't give you, then maybe it's time to have those hard conversations. But if you do genuinely love him and you feel like he is worth your energy and your time to wait, to certainly give him that. But I think it's a choice that you need to make more than him, because he is quite vulnerable, and that's not going to change anytime soon. It's going to take a little while because he does things very slowly. It takes him a long time to heal from things. He really does feel things so deeply, even though he seems so stoic. And part of the problem is that he wears that big facade, so it makes everything feel like it's you know, harder for him to process, because he's trying to kind of, you know, be really strong throughout all these situations. But the Page of Cups is definitely that the feelings are reciprocated. He definitely does love you and care about you, but he is struggling to heal from something. So I hope that's helped you, but you are allowed to entertain those questions of, you know, do I want to stick this out or not? You are only human, and, you know, you're allowed to throw those things up in the air, because time is one of those commodities that we all lack, and it's something that if you're struggling to move forward with those things, then you're allowed to question that. You're allowed to say, maybe I need something more, maybe I need a connection that's deeper now, rather than waiting infinitely to see if he's ever going to be ready. Because my answer to you with that is maybe he's not. Okay, maybe he's not going to be ready anytime soon, but he is trusting you, okay, and he does feel very safe with you. I'm so glad that that does help. All right, Brenda, hi, of course you can. Nice to see you here. Thanks for joining. Yeah, hopefully, I know that these situations are not easy to, and I can give the advice, I go, just do this, you'll be fine. And I know taking those actions is actually really tricky. So when I'm saying things like that, don't get me wrong, I understand that this is not a frivolous thing, but the tarot doesn't like to muck around, and it does like to get to the crux of the matter. So I'm just throwing it out there for you. Okay, Brenda, let's have a look for you. The comments are working well, which is great. We have a new kind of system that we're working with, and it seems to be really seamless, which is great. It's taken a lot of the hard work out of it all. Okay, Brenda, so would you have a question, or would you like me to just do a general one for you today, Brenda? Either or. Okay. Getting them in there and shuffling them. It's good. So we have hit autumn, or fall as you guys in the US call it, in Australia here. It still feels quite warm because we're coming off the back of summer, but that means you guys will be hitting your spring, which is exciting. I actually really like fall or autumn. It's my favourite time of year, so I'm quite excited about that. It gets quite hot here in the summer, so looking forward to a break from that. Okay, Brenda, no worries, a general reading. All right, I'm just going to lay the cards out for you, Brenda, and see what they have in store for you today. Oh, wow, that's a good start. Okay, so Brenda, you have a situation where I feel like there is some positive news coming for you. And I say that because I have the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is all about fulfillment and wishes coming true. So that is sitting in your current environment. So I feel like that's probably happening or about to happen for you. So if there's an answer to a question, or if you're wondering what the outcome of something's going to be, the answer is it's going to be what you were hoping it would be. So that's really, really wonderful. I feel like there is a connection to another female in your life. So somebody who perhaps you've been on a journey with together, or someone that you've been connecting with and hoping for a good outcome. And she's a big part of this for you. And I feel like that's going to be a yes for both of you. So the Eight of Pentacles is telling me there is something around your work or your study, or something where you put a lot of your energy into to earn money. And I think that there is going to be a positive change there as well. So there's going to be some kind of shift in the workplace. So the Eight of Pentacles often refers to what we do for resource, how we gather resource, and what we connect ourselves to in terms of our craft and what we're good at doing. So you can see here that he is sitting crafting a pentacle. In your world, I feel like you have some talent, or you have an ability that you may be tapping into, or you may be thinking about changing or shifting in some way. I think it's a really good time for you to move into that. I feel like the stars are aligned for you, and I think you should jump in. I think it's going to be a really lucrative period in terms of work. I think you're going to have emotional fulfillment. I think you're about to hit a really good time frame, and that's after a time of difficulty. I don't think this is just something you fell into. I feel like you've been through a lot to get here. And so I think that that's really exciting to see. And I think that looking forward, really, if you get opportunities or something coming up that you should pursue, I think you should definitely look at doing it. Even if it feels a little bit left of center for you, I think you should probably jump in and take the bull by the horns and give it a go, because the outcome is going to be very positive for you. So whatever you're setting up now, whatever you're planning to do for your future is going to have really, really positive outcomes. There's also a really, really positive connection there with another female, which I think is going to help you grow and help you to feel a little bit more connected to those things that you're trying to pursue in your own life. So yes, really good reading for you, Brenda. I feel like things are really on the positive, and I think that it's really nice to see the Nine of Cups come out in a reading today, because it is one of those cards that you get when you really are reassured that you're going in the right direction after a really difficult period usually. So I think you've endured the worst of it. There might still be some little crumbles that come through from some of the stuff that you've been through over the last few years, but I feel like it's moving in a more positive direction finally for you, and you've worked really hard to be able to come out the other side of that, and you deserve the fruits of your labor. So enjoy it. Instead of feeling guilty, instead of doubting yourself, instead of questioning whether or not you deserve it, you absolutely do. So let your hair down a little bit, try to enjoy yourself a little bit, and revel in some of the successes that you're about to achieve, because you've definitely worked very hard for everything you've got, and you deserve it. All right, so I think that that's going to be all today, but it's been lovely to have you on, and I'm so glad to be back. And I do look forward to jumping on next Sunday and doing a read for you. I will be on a little bit earlier next Sunday, because I do have I'm doing a volunteer role there for you. Oh, okay. No, that's great. Well, it's going to go in a really positive direction for you, Brenda. That's awesome. So keep going. You've got lots to look forward to in your business. You're going to be amazing. And so I will be on a little bit earlier next week. So it'll be around early morning here. So I don't know whether that's like afternoon for you guys over in the US, or if you're in Australia, it'll be, maybe about 2 hours less than what I was doing today. All right. So I'll look forward to seeing you then. And I'm going to try and get on most Sundays and do readings again, because I really love doing this. All right, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and watch my content. I'm going to be on a lot more doing other content too, and I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you. How do I stop it? I'm trying to stop the stream, guys.